All right, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Cole from the Low, your boy Kobe Cole here to talk about today's episode 6 with the NBA playoffs. We got the Celtics sweeping the Indiana Pacers, and tonight we got the Mavericks versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I got my boy Nard here from the Nard Report, and he also gonna shine some light in for the playoffs. What's up, my boy? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Can't complain with the playoffs on, baby. Can't complain at all.
Yes, sir.
And so overall, like the playoffs in general today, how you feel about the playoffs overall?
Actually, this playoff has been really fun to watch. New teams in the playoffs this year. Lots of young stars. You know, with LeBron, KD, Steph not being in these last two rounds of the playoffs, it's just we're witnessing the new era of the NBA.
Yeah, and when you say new era, like which of these players a new era like surprised you the most? Like Anthony Edwards, JT, like who surprised you the most in this new era?
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. Nah, so with the rise of him being like that, right? And y'all should go check out my boy Nar on Instagram, TikTok. He loves Anthony Edwards. Do you think he has a little more recency bias than like him helping his little case than anything?
Yes, I do. I believe that he has a chance to be the face of the league.
Face of the league. So now you say him be chance face of the league. He's down 3-0 to another person that can be face of the league, which is Luka Doncic. So how you feeling about that?
I feel like this series should not be 3-0 right now. It should be 2-1, either Mavs or Timberwolves. But the Timberwolves sold game two really bad.
So let's go ahead and roll into that series. So we got the Mavs and Timberwolves. How do you feel? Like, what's the main factor you feel like they're down 2-1? Is it Cat? Is it the team? Is it the defense? How do you feel about that?
Well, I believe the reason why they're down 3-0 is because Carlton Towns, he's shooting a lot of threes and not taking into the basket more.
And you feel like he started taking to the basket more. So you feel like Cat got to step up for them to win?
Oh, yeah, he's the reason why they're down 3-0 right now.
Okay, so now let's get into this, right? You say he's the reason they're down 3-0. What about Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert?
Well, Rudy, he doing all right, but he ain't playing like a defensive player of the year right now.
I think it's a little bit of both. Cat ain't step up. I think Cat, by the time they got to the second half, he probably had a little over 5 points, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was under 10 points for sure. But I feel like in that team, yes, they beat the Denver Nuggets, but they also got to a point where it's a little, they got a little more hype than what they're supposed to get. Now, Anthony Edwards balling, playing great, but they role players not stepping up how they need to step up. Jaden McDaniels, he didn't have some off shooting nights lately. What's up, Coy? How you feeling about that?
So, yeah, I agree with you, man. I feel like everybody for the Minnesota Timberwolves has to step up big time, including Anthony Edwards and Carlton Towns.
So what has impressed you more with Luka, Kyrie, and the Mavericks?
Well, Luke and Kyrie, they're one of the best backcourt duos in the NBA. You know, best two closeout shooters. You know, they're clutch time players as well. So when I look at Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, I see what they can both do in the fourth quarter and how they manage the game really well.
So I like how you said manage the game real. When I did my predictions, I go check out TikTok at Coach from Low. When I did my predictions, right, I didn't really know who I wanted to pick. I think I picked the Timberwolves, but I'm a huge Kyrie Irving fan, so I was rooting for the Mavericks because of Kyrie. So with this, I know you picked the Timberwolves, right?
Right.
So their first ring, both teams get their first ring. It would be Kyrie's second. Would you be more impressed of Anthony Edwards getting his first ring, Luka getting his first ring, or Kyrie getting his second without LeBron?
I think it's Kyrie getting his second without LeBron.
And I think that's a big factor to me that I really don't care about this. Not the Mavericks, but I could care less if Luka gets his first ring. To be all honest, I think Luka will, in the next 5 years, I think Luka will get a ring. But I'd be more impressed with the way Kyrie's playing, some of the hate he got, some of the love he still gets. he had an off year. He was dealing with a lot of BS and with the Nets. Now to come back, dropping 30-point games in the playoffs with another ball dominant point guard. I think I've been more impressed with Kyrie getting his second ring.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with you though. Because ever since he left Cleveland, he had rough times. Boston, Brooklyn, and now he in Dallas. Now has a chance to get his second ring without LeBron James. Will be great for his career.
So is there any other players besides like the main guys, Kyrie, Luka, Anthony Edwards? Is there any other players in this series that has gave you a little more shock, like even through this game or even through the playoffs with them two teams?
Oh yeah, PJ Washington. He stepped up really big time for the Dallas
Agreed.
Mavericks.
Agreed. Damn. Nah, I'll be straight honest with you, bro. I'll be straight honest with you. When they made that trade for PJ Washington, Daniel Gofford, and Derrick Jones Jr.,
Right.
I thought that was a ridiculous trade. I thought that trade did not help the team whatsoever. When I ranked the trades, I put that trade last because it just made no sense. You went and got 3 role players. Wish they needed more role players, more people to bench. But why was them 3? And 2 of them came from the Wizards, so it made it even more confusing. Or you went to the worst team, in my opinion, the worst team in the league to go get into. I was wrong. I said it now. I was wrong. Because they fit with that team so well, and a big reason why they are winning.
Absolutely.
And if I had to go to another player, I go with Jay McDaniels. Because the defense he played in with the Suns and also with the Denver Nuggets, he did intercepts from this playoff too. He need to pick up on his points average right about now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Jaden McDaniels' defense is the reason why the Minnesota Timberwolves has one of the best defenses in the league right now.
And do you think? Yeah, I agree. And do you think? So what do you think the Timberwolves have to do today to beat the Mavericks to avoid the sweep?
Well, I got plenty of things that I can list out. I can go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. It's all you.
All right. So number one, Anthony Edwards need to have a big game tonight. That's number one.
How many points you looking from?
I expect at least 30.
Okay.
Or 40.
Okay. What else you got for me?
Number two, Karl-Anthony Towns. He has to step up big time. He, like I said, he is the reason why they're down 3-0 right now to the Dallas Mavericks. He hasn't been shooting the ball really well. He just hasn't been there so far in the Western Conference Finals for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And him not averaging at least 20 points per game, it's not like he's playing like an all-star. You know what I'm saying? So Karl-Anthony Towns need to have a big game tonight if the Timberwolves need to avoid the sweep.
You look anything defensive wise from the ball?
Defensive wise, oh yeah. They need to learn how to shut down Luka and Kyrie.
So this is my question. I have an argument with my coworker today. So is it more so of you need to shut down Luke and Kyrie, or do you just need to frustrate one of them?
I'm gonna say both because once either Luka or Kyrie gets frustrated, it's just not there for the Dallas Mavericks no more.
Because
Like
I
the
say,
momentum.
it's hard. It's hard to shut either one of them down, bro. You asking to shut one of the two, arguably, and how Kyrie playing now. I say top 10, just including both of them. 2 top 10 point guards in the league. It's hard to shut either one of them down, especially with the way they playing. But I think if you frustrate one of them, the other one has to play to win that game.
Oh yeah, I really agree with you.
So do you feel like with the Timberwolves, if you feel like they win one today and take it back to Minnesota, they can take game 6?
Absolutely, because Minnesota has to get one at home for these Western Conference Finals. Not even that. If they win the next 2 games, it could possibly go to a game 7.
And that was my next question. So if they win today, because they're in Dallas, they win today, take it back home, they win game 5. Does the worry set in Game 6 in Dallas? Is that when the worry kick in, or do the worry kick in Game 5? When
I'm
you
gonna
say the
say in
worry
game
kick in for
six.
Dallas,
To me, I'll say game six because you let the Timberwolves get 2 games on you after being up 3-0.
and that's what I think. And if they get to a Game 6, it's going to Game 7, just from the fact y'all let it get to a Game 6.
Absolutely.
So the wrap up this side of it, who do you have winning today?
I'm picking the Minnesota Timberwolves to avoid the sweep tonight.
And then we go to, so that'd be going to Game 5. Who you have winning Game 5? Timberwolves again,
Yes, sir.
and Game 6. So do you have Timberwolves making 3-0 comeback? Let's ask that question.
I believe so because Anthony Edwards has that mindset. He was saying to his teammates the other day after that game 3 loss, hey, let's make history. We're still here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so since you riding this Minnesota train, they complete the 3-0 comeback. They win in Game 7. It'll be them and the Boston Celtics.
Right.
Who you taking in that series, Boston versus the Mavericks?
Ooh. Now that's gonna be a good one.
I'm sorry, Boston versus Timberwolves. My bad.
No, you good, you good. That is a good one. I'ma still pick the Minnesota Timberwolves because I really want Anthony Edwards to get his first ring because he surprised me a lot during these playoffs. Young guy, 22 years old, all-star. Everybody talking about how he could become the next Michael Jordan.
Okay, so do you think with him being the lead, completing that 3-0 comeback for his team, do that automatically, and not just you, but for the people when they choose their picks for who the finals, do you automatically put them in front of Boston just because they beat the defending champ and they came back 3-0? Do you automatically put them in front of whoever just because they did two big historical things?
Absolutely. Taking out the defending champs game 7 at their home court and making a 3-0 comeback, that is huge. That will be huge for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay, and then let's switch it. We have Luka, Dallas Mavericks, 3 on the Timberwolves, win tonight, win one more game. They're in the finals versus the Boston Celtics, which looks very strongly right now because of the lead. How do you feel about that series?
Now, what series you was talking about again?
The Celtics versus Mavericks.
You meant the Pacers?
No, if Mavericks win tonight, they
Oh,
play against the Celtics. How do you feel about that
right.
series? If Mavericks win NBA Finals, Celtics versus not Mavericks.
Well, that is going to be a good series. It will go to 7 games, but if I was to choose, I might have to roll with the Dallas Mavericks because Luka Doncic, like I said, I really want Luka to get his first ring as well. Kyrie get his second ring without LeBron James. It'll just be good for the backcourt, strong backcourt, you know, good role players. With by the way, this Dallas Mavericks have been playing throughout the whole playoffs. They look like they can go to the NBA Finals and win it all.
And I don't totally disagree with you, but I'm gonna be honest. If that series goes to the Mavericks and the Celtics, I'm going to take the Celtics. And it was a topic that I've been trying to argue with people. Even though I say the Mavericks have a better player set, a better duo set, which is Luka and Kyrie versus Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. I want the better team. I would never pick the better players over the better team. The Celtics have Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Derrick White. Kristaps might make a return depending on the news we get from here. Drew Holiday, Al Horford been playing pretty good. I'm missing somebody, and a bench been playing great. So I take them over. I take Dallas Mavericks with Daniel Golford. Derek Lively's right now is concussed. I haven't heard any news that he might play tonight. Derrick
I
Jones
know.
Jr. Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. I think the better team is Boston, and with that being Boston, you take care of the less better team. Even you got two better players. If it was a 2v2, by all means, then I'll take the Mavericks. But it's not a 2v2. It's a 5v5. When your two guys go to that bench, one of them guys stay the court the whole time. Cool. We got two young guys in Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown that stay on the court the whole time. Also with Porzingis, Derrick White, Drew Holiday. So it's pick your poison when it comes to that. How do you feel about that? Will you take the better player, or are you taking the better team as a whole?
Now, what you just said, I'm gonna have to roll with the better team on this one because when you look at the Boston Celtics, Porzingis is out, and they swept the Indiana Pacers last night. So Porzingis is having a lot of rest before the NBA Finals next week on Thursday, June 6th. And I believe he'll be back in time for the NBA Finals of Game 1. So I believe he'll be ready to go.
Because it was rumors, even though the head coach shut it down, it was rumors saying that he's supposed to come back Game 4 against the Pacers, and we're about to get in that series next. But it was a rumor saying he will come back Game 4 against the Pacers. What if they didn't keep him from coming back from Game 4 because the series is pretty much over with?
Right.
Now you gave him extra rest, come back, Al Horford off the bench, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard. That team is legit. And I just don't see Mavericks role players hanging in with Boston role players. You counting on Luka, which OKC no one wants to talk about, but for 2 games straight, I want to say he had 19 points. You relied on other guys. You do that with the Boston Celtics NBA Finals, a past Boston team who done lost to the Golden State Warriors, who done lost 2 times to the Miami Heat, and now they're hungry to finally quiet the haters. Jason Tatum, I'm pretty sure he won Finals MVP. Jalen Brown just won Eastern Conference Finals. He balled out his mind. I just can't pick. I can never pick the better players over the better team. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
So going into anything else you want to say about that series?
No, that's it.
So going into the Celtics versus Pacers series, how do you feel about that overall series, which ended up in a sweep?
Well, it's crazy because I picked the Boston Celtics to win in 6 games, meaning that I had the Pacers winning 2, either 1 in Boston and 1 at home, or 2 games at home in general. But when you look at the series overall, the Indiana Pacers right now should be up 3-1.
The Pacers should be up 3-1.
Absolutely.
And why do you say that?
Well, it's because look at it from game 1 when it was up 117 to 114. They were 10 seconds away. They turned the ball over, which led to a Jalen Brown 3. Game 3, they had the game, lost it. And then game 4 last night, you got Derrick White hitting that clutch 3, put the series away. It's like when you look at games 1, 3, and 4, the Indiana Pacers had like a 90% chance to win the game, but they just didn't know how to close it out.
And that's what I was saying to a lot of people. Last night, they was playing. It was 3 minutes left for the game. Pacers was up, and my homeboy said, "Hey, Pacers up. They probably can get this one." I said, "When they get under 3 minutes, the Boston Celtics will win. The Pacers can't close." Jalen Brown gets to the paint, drop 3 defenders, kick out Derrick White. They go 3 to win the game. So, and then it gets to, even though Tyrese Halliburton was injured, they did play good. Andrew Nembhard stepped up in a big way to contribute for the Pacers. But my thing about that series is, do you sort of blame the coaching of how everything played out, or do you blame the players not being able to finish in them big moments? Because Boston showed their closing abilities.
I will blame the coach because it's not the players' fault. The players did what they had to do. It was the coaching. You know, as a coach, you got to be able to make the right decisions in this time around the game, crunch time or not.
So get my game 1, I'll go coach. You gotta found that situation. You found that situation. Now you putting them in the position where you still win the game. Jalen Brown hitting that is Jalen Brown. He's Eastern Conference Finals MVP for a reason. So, and that goes into I was talking about with injuries. Do you feel Boston playoff run is a little too easy because of injuries that happen?
Well, you see, everybody is saying that the Boston Celtics had the easiest road path to the finals. But when I look at it this way, the Boston Celtics are the number one team in the East, the best team in the NBA. And I'm gonna talk about their road to the NBA Finals as I answer that question. So number one in the first round, they played the Miami Heat, beat them in five. You know, Jimmy Butler was hurt. Terry Rozier didn't play. If Jimmy Butler was healthy, I think they would have got upset. Well, you know they would have went to 7 games if Jimmy Butler was there.
I probably say 6. I don't think Celtics is taking that again. I don't think Celtics is gonna take that loss again. But I see what you're saying though. I'm hearing
Yeah.
you out.
And then in the semifinals, they played the Cleveland Cavaliers. Excuse me, sorry about that. But Donovan Mitchell got hurt in game four. Was it game three?
I want to say game 3. Game 4. I think he didn't play the last 2 games. I think Cavaliers got at least 1 game. Yeah,
Yeah,
it ended 4-1.
right. So what I'm saying about that is I predicted the Celtics to win at five against the Cavs, which I had right because whether Donovan Mitchell was healthy or not, I don't think it would have went to a game six or a game seven because they don't really match up well with each other.
Say it one more time.
I was saying that the reason why the Celtics beat the Cavs in five, it wasn't because of Donovan Mitchell's injury. Well, you can think about it. Jared Allen was hurt as well too. So even though they was healthy or not, I still believe that the Boston Celtics will win in 5 games. I don't think it would have went to a game six or a game seven.
And I think the Celtics are getting a little more hate than they should be getting because it's like most of the players said what the coach said. If I win, I'm supposed to do that. It's too easy. It's this and it's that. If I lose, I'm overrated. I'm the sorriest team here. I don't deserve to be here. So if you're Boston, you're in a lose-lose situation because how do you want me to be this guy? But if I win, I'm not getting my credit. And that Congress has been the number one team. If I lose, I'm overrated. I'm not number one. I'm finna bust in the finals again. So I agree with what you're saying. Even though it was major injuries, same thing with the Pacers. Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton went down, but you see how hard fought that series is.
Oh yeah.
I think the only team, which we're finna get into that too, the only team that took a major amount of, they still did very well, but the only team, in my opinion, took a major amount of injuries that probably could have gave Boston a good run for their money is the New York Knicks.
Absolutely.
And
I
the
agree with you.
only and the only 1 second.
All right.
The only thing that I kind of iffy about with is kind of iffy about with the Knicks is I think if they had a healthy team, they give Boston a run. But I think the only person, and I don't want to say stay injured, but stay out the equation is Julius Randle. I think the reason the Knicks did what they could do is because Julian Randle didn't play. You allowed Jalen Brunson to step up. You allowed Josh Hart to step up. Dante DiVincenzo, my guy, he stepped up. Had Stephen A. Smith happy as all our knows. I think with Julius Randle out, which I feel like a trade or free agency when that comes up, he's out the door. Because now you got the keys to the Ferrari. Brunson got it. And I think that's the only significant injury is them. I don't personally. I didn't think the Bucks was getting far. I didn't think
Nah.
the Bucks was getting far at all.
But I'm gonna say this right now: if Dame and Giannis were healthy, the Bucks beat the Pacers.
100% agree. I don't disagree
Instantly.
with that. They get by game 1. Now it's when they get to them Knicks. Do you beat the Knicks? Simple as that. Do you beat the Knicks?
Nah.
I don't think you beat the Knicks, especially the way Jalen Brunson's playing, and you got Josh Hart doing. I don't think they beat the Knicks. And in my opinion, and that's one of the perfect examples I was going to, because off real, when you hear the trades, it's gonna be Giannis and the Bucks versus Jason Tatum and Boston Celtics in Eastern Conference Finals. That was the automatic prediction to be. From day one, before the season started, I took Boston Celtics, and there goes my my reason of better team or better players. The better players is Giannis and Dame, but the better team, which y'all got rid of Drew Holiday and sent him to Boston, is the Celtics. From the from the backcourt to the bench, they mesh well together. Y'all fired a coach mid season, blamed everybody. Y'all even blamed the equipment staff and the laundry man, and their defense was suspect. So that's why I don't think the Bucks would have got that far.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But how do you feel about like all the NBA player injuries, like in whole? Kawhi getting hurt. How do you feel about how do you feel about Kawhi getting hurt with the Clippers versus the Mavericks? Do you think that series would have ended different, or Mavs still would have took that?
Well, actually, it definitely would have went to a game seven, but I still had the Mavericks winning in 7 games because I don't really trust the Clippers in the playoffs, whether they're healthy or not. Because you never know who's going to be healthy, who's not going to be healthy. It's the reason why I don't pick the Clippers in the playoffs. It don't matter who they play. I still won't pick the Clippers to win a playoff series because they always hurt. You know, James Harden is not a playoff player. Kawhi, Paul George, they're always hurt. So that's why I don't trust the Clippers in the playoffs.
So when you say that, right, and I see where you're coming from with the Clips always being hurt, which do you think is more important? And I might be a little hot take right here from me, but I'm gonna ask you first. Which do you think is more important? Playoff availability or season availability?
Playoff ability is because your goal is to win the championship. So that is more important because the regular season is getting you ramped up for the playoffs. So that's why
And
playoffs is
and,
important.
and that's my thing right there, right?
Right.
This might be a little hot take, but I say season availability might be a little
Right.
more important than play availability. And the reason because that, right? Yes, the overall goal is the playoffs. I need you in the playoffs. We have to win. But if I don't have you in the regular season, how can I trust you're gonna be there in the playoffs for me? If I don't have you in the regular season, how can you get me to the playoffs if you not even in where the games matter? I feel like sometimes we discredit the regular season just because the playoffs is where you gotta get the championship. And I understand that's the big picture, that's the goal. You can start for the AC and go win a championship. That's where it matters the most. But if I don't win my regular season games, perfect example, Los Angeles Lakers, Golden State Warriors, Pelicans, Sacramento Kings, your Atlanta Hawks,
Right.
Chicago Bulls. If I don't win my regular season games, how can I get to the playoffs? So the conversation started off with Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. I say both of them been hurt by the same amount of times. KD missed a large amount of regular season games. Kawhi misses playoffs. I gave a little more shade to KD than I gave it to Kawhi. And the reason being, I can't trust you to get me to the playoffs or at in the playoffs if you're always injured in the regular season. But come playoffs, you ready to take all the credit. So how do you feel as in, do you think the star player, we're gonna go star player, the star player should be more available in the regular season or they should be way more available in the playoffs? Do you want the team to get you there or do you want to win all the way?
It's more about the playoffs and getting there all the way because that's what the NBA see. The playoffs are the most important part of the NBA season because your goal is to try to win it all. Because when I look at the regular season, they're just playing for seeding, ain't no trying to get to the playoffs. So if the team makes the playoffs, they have that one mindset. is that winning the NBA Finals.
So do you think if my so are you okay with a player missing 60 games but hopping in the playoffs? So if you're the AFC, gotta go to the play in, get to the play in, and your star player came back. You're content with that because your star player came back.
Yeah, because with your star player coming back, it gives all the momentum trying to make the playoffs. So that's why I feel like with your star player coming back for the playing tournament, whether it's 7 versus 8 or win to get in, you have your star player back to get into the NBA playoffs. So that's what I
Shout
have
out
to say
Mr.
there.
Get It 88. But so yeah, I understand where you coming from. Like I said, it might be a little more hot take coming from me because I need my star player to get me there. Because if you can't get me there, I'm really not gonna worry about you in the playoffs because now I can't trust you. If I can't have you in the regular season, my trust is gonna be: are you gonna show up to the playoffs? I can't even see you perform in the regular season, or you're struggling in the regular season. So we're gonna spin back to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they beat the Suns, which gave us a lot of hope with the Timberwolves. Then you go beat where they swept the Suns. Let me say that they swept the Suns. Then they went and beat the Denver Nuggets, defending champs. Now they're down 3-0 to the Mavericks. Do you feel the Minnesota Timberwolves it was a fluke run for them?
I'm not going to say they're a full grind to them, but they are a challenge to the Dallas Mavericks because the Dallas Mavericks are a very good team. Good starting lineup. Whether Devin Lively and Daniel Gofford, best two centers that they have, and they got a solid bench as well. So I think the Timberwolves are up to the challenge right now to the Dallas Mavericks.
So do you think what do you think is the differences with the Timberwolves beating the Nuggets and beating the Mavericks? Why? What do you think is like the biggest difference here, going from beating the defending champs to beating the Dallas Mavericks, or we're not losing to the Dallas Mavericks? What do you think is like the biggest takeaway from this? How are you so able to beat the defending champs, but you're struggling so bad right now? You had your boy Anthony Edwards on the breathing machine after done with Kyrie.
So yeah, kind of like what you were saying, you beat the Denver Nuggets in 7, came back from 20 points in the third quarter, and then you're in the Western Conference Finals down 3-0 to the Mavericks is not okay because you're one loss away from getting eliminated from the playoffs.
And so do you think do you think Anthony Edwards does it hurt his credibility or legacy just a tad bit from going sweep game 7 to about to get swept or maybe get swept tonight?
I don't say it hurts his legacy because all great players have been swept in the playoffs before. When you look at LeBron, he's been swept plenty of times before. Kevin Durant's been swept before. And so I don't think it hurts his legacy. At least he took down the Denver Nuggets is all I'm worried about.
So let me ask you this right here, and y'all can check out my point of view from my TikTok, Code from Low. But my point of view, this right here. So right, we got start, bench, cut, and trade. Okay, I'm gonna give you four
Right.
players, and you go tell me start, bench, cut, trade. You probably already seen it, but we have Luka Doncic, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, and Jason Tatum. So you the four main guys in our Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals right now. So who would you start, bench, cut, trade? Starting with your start, Luka Doncic, Halliburton, Edwards, and Tatum. Who you starting?
To me, even though Anthony Edwards is not playing really good right now, I'm gonna still pick him because he's young, 22 years old. He's motivated right now in
Hmm.
these playoffs. I
So you're starting
will,
Anthony Edwards, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I will bench Luca,
Okay.
And then I believe I will cut Jason Tatum.
And you go to trade Halliburton.
Yeah.
So give me a rundown right here. Give me why you cut Tatum and trade Halliburton.
Well, to me, the reason why I'm cutting Jason Tatum is because he hasn't really impressed me so far in these playoffs. And Tyrese Halliburton, even though he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, he's a good player overall, but he just don't have the ability to compete in my start bench and cut with Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic.
So you said Tatum hasn't impressed you in the playoffs. He did have a 30-point game.
Yeah,
He still hasn't impressed you enough.
well, not really, especially in the Eastern Conference Finals because Jaylen Brown was doing all the work.
So for me, I did start Luka Doncic, which we can both agree on. No, you started Anthony
Mm-hmm.
Edwards. I'm sorry. I started Luka Doncic. I benched Tatum. I cut Halliburton, and I traded Anthony Edwards. Luka MVP conversation. 3 up against Timberwolves right now. I think he's the undeniable starter. Bench. I'm benching JT. He's been to the finals before. He's been to multiple last 5 out of a couple years. He's been 5 East Country Finals. He's that guy. He can rebound. He got his passing up. He can shoot. I'm a bench JT. Now when we got to cut the trade, I'm not the biggest Halliburton fan. I like his game. I think him coming back and what he did this year shows what a true point guard actually is, passing the ball. And that's what I admire about Halliburton because he's actually passing the ball and showing what an actual point guard is. He's not the flashiest scorer. Everybody doesn't like his jump shot. But the way he passed the ball, dropping 20 assists, 17 assists, the way he did in these games, I like that about Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I like his game as in passing wise. Now, Anthony Edwards, I'm going to my GM mind. Like you said when you said you started him, he's young. He can get more experience. I can get so much trade value out of him just because of what he did right now and at his age. So that's the mindset I'm looking right there. I wouldn't cut JT. You said cut JT, right?
Well, actually, I'll take that back. I'll cut Halliburton and trade JT.
Yeah, I can't. I would get so much more trade value of all 3 of them players than I would give Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
But so for tonight, you got Timberwolves, right?
Yes, sir.
And then, so do you think they're coming back? What's your NBA final prediction? Celtics versus who? Mavericks or Timberwolves?
Well, as much I want the Timberwolves to come back from down 3-0, I'm going to stick with my prediction. I predicted the Timberwolves to win in 7 before the series started. So I still got the Timberwolves and the Celtics in the finals.
Timberwolves and Celtics in finals?
Yep.
Man, you words, stay to it. Hey, man, I appreciate you for coming on, bro, and joining me. Hey, anytime you want to come back on, man, just let me know. Okay. More than welcome. Y'all go check out my man, the NAR report. Bring it back up real quick so y'all can follow my guy. The NAR report, Instagram, TikTok. You on YouTube, man?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube as well, but I haven't posted much content on there lately, but I'll start posting more.
Hey, y'all heard him. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Check out my man. Great content. Hey, any Atlanta fans, go get your content from my boy. Huge Atlanta fan right here. Hey, I appreciate you, my guy. I'll see you next time. All right.
All right. Thank you.